Let's see if this works. I'm using like the most old school Windows technology and my fucking webcam from my laptop to record this. Because you know, CapCut's fucking ridiculously expensive now, and I'm not paying anything. CapCut's fucking like 30 Australian dollars a month. Why? Why, bro? Like, what happened to Windows Movie Maker? I detest this charging of everything. How you supposed to be a creator of every single thing has a fucking price ticket attached to it. It's fucking ridiculous. So I gotta pay Meta now for a tick next to my name to verify I'm a real person. Look at me, cunt. I'm a real human. Welcome to the Mafia Method podcast, run by Julia Mafia. I don't even know if I'm going to do a nice intro and all that. Again, more work. Fuck it. I'll just jump on here and talk. So, I'm going to try and keep these episodes to like 20 minutes, right? Because we say in English, which is the same expression in Spanish. I've learned some Spanish today. I can talk the ears off a donkey. And what that is in Spanish is habla por los codos. Or I would say hablo por los codos. Another expression that I've learnt alongside that is the Spanish saying for a pot, like the pot calling the kettle black, which means like you're a hypocrite. They say a donkey talking about ears. So, el burro hablando de orejas. I like that. Anyway. Oh, okay. So, I did a podcast in my first year in Spain. I mean, I could plug it if you want to go and listen. I did a few episodes that were pretty long. I can't delete the episodes, but because I've lost the logins and shit. But it was called the Higher Self Podcast, and I really enjoyed filming these. But I was still like really, really deep in my healing journey at that time, and I was also bodybuilding, so I definitely wasn't really like properly my authentic self. And at that stage, I definitely wouldn't have called myself healed. Now, it's a big claim to make, but I'm going to make it. At some point, you have to go, yeah, no, I'm healed. Like, and I can return back to fucking operations, but your operations will be different. You know what I mean? So I need to clear my camera roll at the moment because, again, I am sick of like just paying to have these items. Like, it's just so ridiculous, these overheads. And um, yeah, the phone addiction, guys, it's a real thing that I think all of us need to be aware of, especially, those of us born in like late 90s and just grown up with like technology. It's like we're kind of on that weird cusp of like we remember what life was before the phone, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I'm really, 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 really trying to cut down my phone use and also just create in the now and create in the present rather than like dig back through old content. So I'm trying to clear through it, / I just want to wipe everything if I'm really honest. But anyway, and I went back to like when I left Australia, when I was moving, and that couple months where I was like packing everything up, I just really couldn't even look at the photos and the videos. I did, but it was really tough. And just been reflecting a little bit on all of that. Every time I go through a bit of a transition, I kind of look back to that point in time because that's probably the hardest transition I've ever made in my life. I really felt like I could make a transgender joke there, but let's just not. Let's just stop that. See, self-control. I've had people ask me on my fucking Instagram if I'm a transgender. Why? Because you're pretty. What the fuck, cunt? Like, this is what I mean, where life's cooked. You know what I mean? Anyway, I digress. So yeah, I did want to talk about a couple of things today. I wanted to talk about a little bit on change and growth and like acknowledging what point you're at. And that links to relational boundaries, sort of real love, healthy love, and sustaining like a healthy, positive, uplifting energy. So, without further ado, a quote that I came across last week that I really liked that kind of represents what I'm working on personally right now is the following. If you don't know how to say no, your yes means nothing. So the way I interpret this is you define your value by your ability to state your boundaries, uphold them clearly, and then align yourself with them, and your boundaries should relate to your morals and your values, right? So as an individual, doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter what you believe in, you need to have your own compass that's strong, that aligns with you, right? And there's many ways to find this, but you don't find out really what's going to be a good guide for you until you figure out who you are at your core, at your depth, without all the noise. So in my time focusing on healing, because that's what I've been doing, first and foremost, healing and growth, same thing, right? Two sides of the same coin. I have been really trying to get to the root of who I am as a soul, as a spirit, because we're all spiritual beings living in these human bodies, right? We all come from a place and then we all go to a place. We can argue about what those places are till the cows come home, but I'm not here to do that. The point is, we all have a spirit, we all have a soul. And that's our truth, really, because energy doesn't die. So once you rip up the layers, I'm going to put this in a tight little bundle. Once you rip up all the layers and figure out who you really are and what you really desire in life and blah, 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 from that, you will most likely be led to a belief system or a culture or a different place, potentially, or people, whatever, where you feel home and you feel right. And from that point, that's when you can then build. From that point, that's when you can then set these boundaries, learn how to say no. A lot of us, especially if we're entrepreneurial or women, really, because we're sold a lot of lies. Let's be honest. We'll get to that in later talks. But a lot of us are encouraged to take on every challenge and say yes to everything, and that's like the sign of living a full life. And just trying to do everything, and everything that comes our way must be an opportunity. No. A lot of things that come your way are tests. A lot of things that come your way, I believe, are tests from God saying, all right, I've shown you your dreams. You know your dreams. You have visions. This thing that's coming in, can you trust the dreams I've given you? Can you trust your belief and your visions enough to see whether this fits into that or not? Because if you lead with your dreams first, you'll be able to work out very quickly if this thing, place, person, opportunity, whatever fits into that. So as much as a feeling is off, you've got to say no. That's the way I see it. So I'm at a point now where I'm finding a lot of power in saying no. And I'm finding a lot of clarity and peace in rejection, actually. Rejection is always redirection, and also being able to either get rejected or reject others or deal with things dying and burning and falling apart. Not only is it character building, but it's developing your iman or faith to another level. Right? So, if you don't know how to say no, your yes means nothing. So, learn how to say no. Learn how to say no. And you don't have to say no intensely or abrasively. depending on the situation, of course. But you can say no in many ways. You can say no sweetly, you can say no clearly, you can say no energetically, you can explain a big fucking story as to why it's no, or you can just know what you know, understand you're moving in line with yourself, fucking shake hands, have a nice day, and be on your way. So that's a quote that I heard that I really liked. That also, again, like I said, I felt it reinstalled some faith, because you don't want your yes to mean nothing in life, right? And if someone knows you're gonna say yes, right? Well, they don't have to put in effort, you know? Yes men is a concept we use in Australian English. I don't know if it's used in English, but um, a lot of people in life have systems around them, whether it be friends or relationships or partners or communities, whatever the fuck. A lot of people create systems predicated on people that are yes men. Now, what it means to be a yes man is to blindly follow a leader and not have any autonomy of your own. Right? Now, of course, it takes a village to do anything, really. Right? But I don't personally believe anybody should be a yes man. You know, I'm building a community around what I do, the health work, the music. And I don't want anyone to be in this space that just says, yes, Mafia, whatever you want. Especially if they're working closely with me. I want them to question me, right? And I want them to also align with and believe in what I'm creating and what I'm doing. You know, I want everyone a part of whatever this community is going to be. And bringing that together via Electro Mafia and the Mafia method. I want everyone to understand what they're a part of, right? So that's why me, as the person that's creating this, I've got to get clear. And that means when shit comes to me that doesn't fucking fit into this, I've got to say no. You know what I mean? So another thing that I'll just touch on quickly, if you are entrepreneurial, is that the energy of your personal life and the energy of your life always bleeds into your business. Always, 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 every time without fail, it bleeds in. So if you've got shit boundaries in your personal life and in your life, and you're experiencing difficulty, it's going to translate directly into your businesses / ability to sustain all of that. So not only from a personal perspective am I saying no to shit that doesn't align with me and being fucking happy about it and trusting in where I'm going, I actually care a bit more. I care a bit more about what I'm creating, that's solid, because that represents me. So I want this fucking system to be really, really strong, right? Anyway, moving forward, like how I said, it aligns with boundaries. So I think boundaries are probably number one of the most important things to have in any type of relationship, alongside trust. However, you can't have any level of trust if you don't trust yourself and you don't trust God. That's what I believe. If you don't trust yourself, you are never going to trust anything outside of you, right? But in saying that, I don't think you should have blind faith. Like, you need trust to a level. But at the end of the day too, there's so many factors that can go on in just a day or in someone's life that can fuck shit up, even without anyone's intervention. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like just having trust in things working out. It's not necessarily having trust in other people. I'll be honest, because shit happens. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'll be like, yep, all right, I'm going to get this done tomorrow. And then I'll be like, fuck, woke up with my period. I can't do this. Like, I'm not in a space to do it. Doesn't mean I'm untrustworthy. It just means something's fucking come up that I can't control, right? We're all subject to that as humans. But boundary setting, and not only setting it, but being clear in that. You don't know what you don't know, right? And everybody has sensitivities. Everybody has triggers. Everybody has things they're used to. Everybody has things they're not used to. People have different styles of communicating. That's, like one of the major things I've learned in moving to a completely opposite part of the world is that, like, people are different. And yeah, okay, we know that on a surface level, but what does that mean deeper? Well, it means like people read things differently, from tone to body language to everything, and different things mean different things mean different things in different cultures. So I could be speaking with a certain tone and looking a certain way at someone, and even if I'm saying I fucking love you, they'll be perceiving that as a threat just because of like what they've learned. So this is why boundaries are important, to not only have yourself, but to then set and clearly relay, right? So the people you need to actually have the best and the healthiest boundaries with are the people closest to you. How the fuck is anyone going to know anything? How the fuck is anyone going to be able to consider you and be sensitive of you if you don't know what your boundaries are and you don't communicate them? It's not the other person's job to assume shit or to fucking put things together. Do you know what I mean? It's not. Why I think boundary setting is key in this specific period of time is because technology has changed the way we think. Technology has changed the way we think. Technology has connected all of our consciousness into this one muddled thing with everybody else, and not only people we know personally, but also like the rest of the world. Like, we're all connected now through this thing. It's pretty weird. It's cool, but it's weird. So we're kind of in each other's heads and lives and spaces a lot more than we have ever been in society. And it's good in a way because it allows us to understand we do have a shared consciousness and it can help bridge those gaps. But in another way as well, it's kind of frustrating when you just feel like you need a breather and you need to like ground yourself and reconnect to your individual self and your individual soul. So this is where boundaries become a superpower, even though they're so easy to do and they're so easily accessible, and you can set a boundary with anyone at any point in time. You know what I mean? And again, it doesn't have to be this big fucking explanation. A simple no, or I can't, or can you not, or just leave it. Like a simple clear instruction or direction can be enough. And every situation calls for a different, version of that. But you need to learn to set those boundaries, and you need to be unapologetic about it. And if that person loves and respects you and cares for you at that level, they're going to have no issues with that. If anything, they'll be like, thanks for letting me know. Personally speaking, I appreciate it so much when someone I know says, hey, I just need a bit of space. Or, hey, I'm sorry I didn't get back to you. I had this going on. Or, you know what? I'll get back to you when I can. Or they leave it. And then when they're ready to come back, they go, I'm here and I'm here with full energy. I had a comment on my TikTok. On my phone's away, but I had a comment on my TikTok because I put up a video, like just a bit of a funny video, like, I fucking love being single. Like, I get to wake up every day and no one pisses me off, just a bit of a laugh. And someone commented, like, I go up and down with it. And he's like, I love it too, but I get lonely and, sometimes I wish I just had someone there. And I sort of said, well, and he said, I feel selfish for like wanting to be alone, and I'm worried if I self-sabotage relationships because I want to be alone. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, wait, what do you mean? So firstly, why are you going to feel selfish if you're single? for wanting all your alone time. You don't have to give anyone else your time. And in my opinion, unless you have like a family, like you have children and like dependents, I don't think you should be giving all your time and energy away. And this is my point. Like, so many of us don't know how to set boundaries, even with the people in our beds, that we're then left feeling alone and isolated while someone sleeps beside us. It's insane, you know? So, yeah, he was sort of saying, "Oh, I feel selfish." And I said, "Well, what are you going to feel selfish for? Like, you're single." And then he sort of said, "Yeah, but it's all sacrifice and you've got to give up and time and space." I actually want to get the comment up so I can fucking explain this clearly. All right. I love TikTok. I fucking love it. It's actually goated. Here. So basically, the video, I just said, "I love being single, cunt." And then I'm like, "Oh, people go, are you lonely?" And I was like, "Nah, mate, no one does my head in. It's great." And a guy named Philip commented, "It's a roller coaster being single. Some days it feels great, and other days you start thinking, maybe there's something wrong with me, or am I self-sabotaging relationships because I'm just too selfish and incapable of sharing my space or sharing my time with another person?" And I said, if no one worthy walks into your life, why would you feel selfish? And he said, "I agree, but I've also found myself in a relationship, and then at some point I really miss being on my own, brackets, as in the freedom to choose what I want to do and when I want to do it, close brackets." That's the problem I have, by the way, but we'll get back to that. "And subconsciously, I reckon I start looking for reasons to bail out. I now start to think it is me. And there's a bit of selfishness going on my part, because a relationship will always have a certain level of sacrifice." These are the lies we tell ourselves, and these are also the lies that have been programmed into men. Give up all your life to provide every single thing for a wife and children, and that's how you've made it as a man. You know, we're encouraged to, I wrote a rap lyric the other day, but I threw it out. It was like, you're programmed to provide before you find out what's inside. That's not what the rap was, but that works in this context. So yeah, like literally we're told, yep, all right, this is what men are told, like go and work and like make all this money and then like get a wife and then have kids and then you're all happy. And then you have a lot of man babies that like have not grown up, don't know who the fuck they are, and you know, shit flies off the handle. Anyway, so back to what Philip said about sacrificing his life just to be with a woman, which is just insane. Like, aren't relationships supposed to give you life? That's what I've always thought. You know, fuck. Anyway, I said, honestly, I don't get what the sacrifice is if there's no children involved. Dependence, right? If you're having to sacrifice a lot of parts of yourself to be with someone, then they're probably not the person for you. I think if you're sacrificing time alone and things like that, then again, you're probably just in a relationship to have someone there. I believe your partner should respect your needs as much as they can. And I said, of course, tough shit happens from time to time, but again, it's two adults. They should be able to point each other in the direction of help. And if there's anything going on, like, you know, with someone else, they're supporting someone and being there for them, and then there's becoming someone else's burden. So, yeah, like it's just this idea that we have to settle. We have to settle. And I'm not just talking about like, you know, everyone goes, "Oh, every girl wants like a 6'5" fucking billionaire that plays basketball and this and this." Now, I'm not talking about that shit, which by the way, I don't think you should settle in that anyway, because if you're not attracted to someone, then why would you even want to entertain an intimate partnership? Anyway, I think people settle in the actual qualities of a person and like the connection, the energy between there. Right? I've done it before. I'm not going to go into the stories because I don't want to fucking upset anyone, but I definitely settled because I was like, it's good enough. But it wasn't the magic I know it can be. You know what I mean? And it wasn't, more to the point, the love I wanted. I learnt through it, but when I realized I was settling, I got the fuck out of that. So I've got an issue with why we all think we have to lose parts of ourselves to be with somebody else. Doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Any fucking sense. You should be able to have boundaries. You should be able to have, if you want it and require it, alone time. Time to be with yourself, to do your things, to be with your friends, you know, to focus on things that like fill you up with joy inside and to be your own strong person. And that person in your life, whether you're a man or woman, should be a cherry on top and should make everything better and just like be the nice little decorations. You know, you should have already built the house. You should already have the rooms in the house. You should already have everything in the house you need to be happy and healthy, you know? And the relationship in your life, or any relationships, like I said, friendships come into this too. It's everything. They should be there to add the fucking flowers, you know, and add the nice scents and add the pretty colors. Like, it shouldn't be the foundation of what you associate with like a good life and love. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So yeah, I put up a little TikTok today, a bit more on this too. And yeah, basically I was just like, I said a lot of things in it, so I'll link it to this or whatever the fuck else. You can go have a look. But I gotta wrap this up. I'm at 30 minutes now. How am I gonna end this fucking cut? How am I gonna end this cutsy? Since moving to Europe, I'm speaking like way more of an ethnic, just because, you know, I'm around people that don't speak English. So sorry guys, but I've done like a reverse wog. Reverse wog. Don't sacrifice your happiness for quote unquote love. Doesn't make any fucking sense. Love is like the highest emotion, highest frequency we get to experience on this life. And so many people are saying, oh, I gotta sacrifice. Like, oh, fuck, I just can't give I can't give so much. Why is it depleting you? That's the problem. Love is supposed to like replenish you and give you energy, and like it's a drug. It's literally a drug. So if that's not what you're feeling or able to sustain in anything around you, in your work, in the way you dress and express, in your friendships, in your romantic partnerships, in whatever the fuck else in life, you got to look at that. You got to look at that. You got to understand that you're probably maintaining and sustaining subconscious programming that is keeping you in a state of lack. Because love isn't just reserved for romantic partnerships. That's one type of love. That's one type of love. I think in Greek they have like 4 words for love. It's like agape. Let me search this up. That's another language I've got to learn too. Fuck. Greek love words. There's like 4 words in Greek. Eros, romantic love. Philia, deep friendship. Storge, familial love. Agape, unconditional love. Ludus, playful love. What is this? Is this Latin? No, it's Greek. Pragma, enduring love. Philautia, self-love. Mania, obsessed love. Mania. But yeah, look at that. There's 6, 7, 8 words for love. You know, because why? They understand the concept of love being a frequency and a feeling, and not just reserved for like one spot in our life. You know what I mean? So let's wrap it up. I'm going to end this here. Hope you enjoyed my first chat. Hope you enjoyed seeing my head in 180p from my fucking webcam, and a bit of an old school style of video. Yeah, I'll upload this to MySpace. No, but I'll put this on my YouTube. Fuck it. Yep, let's fucking get it up. All right, guys. Talk soon. Mafia out.